You have no idea how many times I've been asked this question: how to leave a toxic relationship, and how can I have closure after leaving such a relationship? I know it's so hard, and that's why we're here to explore exactly that. Hi, I'm Vassia. I'm a psychologist and relationship therapist, and I know that it's one of the hardest things to get yourself out of such a relationship. Not because it's difficult to break up. I mean, we're doing breakups in our lives all the time. Everybody has gone through a breakup, but because of the impact that the toxic relationship has on you and doesn't allow you to cut the chain, doesn't allow you to feel that you deserve to be loved, to be embraced, and to be nurtured and comforted like every other human being. And you feel like you're deserving being in such a relationship, and that keeps you there. So if you're watching this video, you're already doing a big step because a part of you feels that you don't deserve that. And I know. Even though I don't know you, I know that. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to see what are some steps that you can take, practical, but also emotional, psychological steps that you can take in order to leave such a relationship. And also, I'm not going to forget how we can have a closure in this relationship. And I'm talking about toxic relationship. And for sure, probably you know something, or you have watched some other of my videos and you got an idea what it is. But when we're talking about toxic relationship, either we're talking about a relationship with a person with narcissistic traits, for example, a person who lacks empathy, a person who has this grandiose sense of self-importance, a very self-centered person that completely dismisses your needs and neglects you. Or we're talking about somebody who is very abusive, physically abusive, or verbally, emotionally abusive, completely dismiss your feelings, completely devalue you, and make you feel very belittled, like a very unimportant person, or somebody who doesn't even see you, a person who dismisses you, who treats you as somebody who is unimportant and invisible. So, when we're talking about toxic relationships, we're not talking about relationships with trust, respect, love, healthy boundaries, and connection. We're talking about relationships, and I'm going to give you some examples. Relationships where we feel emotionally manipulated, when we are made to feel worthless and incapable, when people are using phrases such as, you should be lucky that I am with you. And then making us feel, again, remember what we said in the beginning, that we are the problem, that we are unworthy, when they're telling us that we should be feeling lucky that they are putting up with us. So that's, of course, it's manipulation. People who are gaslighting us, people who are saying one thing at a time and then another thing at the other time, making us feel as if there's something wrong with our mind, people who are making us doubt our own reality and distorting the truth. Or toxic relationships are relationships with a lot of isolation, people who punish you, either with silent treatment or with power games, people who make you feel that you don't deserve love, not only from them but also from others, isolate you from your friends, isolate you from your family. They create this codependency in the relationship, and they trap you. They trap you in there in this toxic relationship, and you feel like you have to stay there in order to maintain the harmony in the relationship. People who are controlling you, they are displaying excessive jealousy. They are accusing you of flirting or maybe cheating you without having any evidence, of course. But also they are excusing this jealousy on their feelings of love for you and their fear of not losing you. But it's just control. It's just control based on these excuses. So these are some examples of toxic relationship. So how when you're here and you're making the decision eventually to leave that relationship. So how to do that? After knowing that and understanding and actually reminding yourself every single day that you don't deserve that, we need to take some practical steps. And by practical steps, what do I mean? Not everybody is able practically, financially, to leave such a relationship. I've met many people who are stuck in this relationship, even though they know that they don't want to be in them, but just because their partner is providing for everything. Their partner is taking care of financially, taking care of them, their children, their house, the car, whatever they own. And if they leave, they have nothing. So in this case, leaving the relationship is not going to happen tomorrow, unless, of course, you have financial support from family, friends, or other sources. But for some people, it's not able to happen today, tonight, tomorrow. And in this case, what we need is a safety plan, something where you find a job, a plan where you start saving in order to find a house, or looking for a shelter, looking for a place where you can stay temporarily and feel protected and feel safe. Of course, we need to build a supportive network. We need a system around us. We need friends. We need family, a therapist, maybe a coach or a social worker. We need somebody not only for the actual support that they will embrace us with, but also for the new perspective. Being in a toxic relationship means that you have been bombarded with messages of unworthiness, and you need a new perspective. You need to gain again a sense of yourself, to find yourself again. And that's what you will find with people who really care about you, who really accept you and understand you. So we need guidance on how to build a support system. And also, we need mental health support. We need, again, to explore practices of self care, the healing, the moving forward. As I said before, you have been bombarded with messages of unworthiness, and that doesn't change, of course, just because you're watching this video. Of course, it's a process. It's the process of healing. It's a process of rebuilding your self esteem. And that takes, of course, time. So, what do we need to do? We need to learn maybe new strategies of protecting our mental health, new strategies of setting boundaries, getting again into connection with yourself, rebuilding the relationship you had with yourself, because so far you believed that you were to blame for everything that was happening. You were feeling unworthy, you were feeling undeserving. So we need to change this tape. Now we need a new narrative. Now we need to kick out of the room this inner critic and learn self-compassion, learn self-love, self-kindness. So that, of course, can happen through therapy if you're doing therapy, but also you can try reconnecting with yourself and loving yourself again through other practices such as mindfulness, meditation. This is when you're staying with yourself without being afraid of your body, without being afraid of your feelings and of the experience that is happening inside you. You're not a threat anymore. You never were, but now you're changing that. You're also healing from trauma at this moment because you have been traumatized being in this relationship. And I'm sure you don't feel ready to trust another human being again, let alone trusting yourself. So you're healing from trauma and you are allowing your body to let go of this burden. Then that's why any somatic exercises are valuable at this stage. Yoga, for example, mindfulness, exercising, walking in nature, anything that lets your body express the stress and allow the stress to get out of the body is valuable at this moment. In order to change, as we said, this narrative about ourselves, it helps not only to think in a new way, but to write in a new way. Journaling helps a million times. When you're seeing your thoughts, when you're writing the new thoughts on the paper, and you're seeing the new way you want to talk to yourself, can be so transformational. And of course, not to forget practices of self-care when you're allowing yourself to not feel pressure, when you are having your morning routines, your evening routines, when you're allowing yourself to take breaks between work, when you're saying no to other people, when you're feeling overwhelmed and you're staying at home in order to rest, that's self-care. So all these are important. And last but not least, we said that we're going to talk about closure, right? I think it's self-explanatory, the fact that we don't need to expect the other person to give us closure. I mean, if you have been in a relationship with a toxic person who has been abusing and accusing you for such a long time, I don't think that you're going to have a healthy explanation of what happened in the relationship and it didn't work. I don't think that you will ever get thank you for being so patient and being so kind. So I think that should go out of the things that you need to do. Closure is a personal job. It's something that you will provide to yourself. And you will provide closure to yourself by offering words of encouragement to yourself, empowerment to yourself, forgiveness, self forgiveness, forgiving yourself for knowing the truth but staying for too long in this relationship. Because we all make mistakes like these. And sometimes it's not a mistake because for some reason it was working for some period. Remind yourself that you didn't know better. You were learning about yourself. You were learning about behaviors. You were every day, you were doing the best you could. And now that you find the power, the strength to get out of this, you're doing it. It's not that you could, but you didn't. You couldn't. You were not ready yet. Now you're ready. Now you're at this point. Provide yourself with additional resources. Read books, websites, videos. Thank you for being here and watching this video, actually. Support groups. That's a fantastic resource. I've been running support groups for people who are getting a divorce. And I did it in the past, not at the moment. But it was so transformational when these people would meet and actually they felt held, understood, and embraced by other people. It was immense help for everybody. Closure is something that can happen, and I've seen many success stories. There's power in letting go. And if at some point you don't know how to give closure to yourself, it's okay. You can let go of this pressure. It will happen. Focus on yourself, focus on finding yourself again and reconnecting with yourself, and maybe closure will be something that will happen down the road. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and trusting me and being in this vulnerable place and watching this video here and trying to pick up your pieces and move forward just one tiny step forward. It's a huge step, even though it seems like a tiny step. It's a huge step. So be kind to yourself, take good care of yourself. Let me know your questions. Join my workshop, How to Protect Yourself from a Narcissist. Join my webinar, which is about how to recognize a covert narcissist, because that's sometimes difficult to recognize and we can feel actually trapped in this relationship for too long time. You're going to see in the description, in the comments, you're going to see the link. Thank you very much for being here. Until next time, next video, take really good care of yourself.